I hated being grounded. I always fell on Fair Week. When you were 14 and you lived in a dull village, Fair Week was the best thing. At school, everyone would lose their shit with the build-up of Friday night at the fair. Fair Week meant fast rides, vodka, and getting fingered. God, I loved it. Figuring out who you fancied the week before and then persuading him to go on the dodgems with you. Sharing vodka afterwards behind the hot dog van and snogging with the previously mentioned finger action. It was dreamy. Oh, the smell of fried onions, it still gets me excited. But I missed 2 Fair Weeks throughout the 5 summers I was 12 to 17, which is a lot. The second one I was grounded for was for a slightly more serious crime than painting in my bedroom. In year 9, I fell in lust with James Dundee. He was so fucking hot. He didn't go to my school, but he lived 4 houses down the lane. Now I lived in a tiny village, so the chances of having a boy in my age range were slim, never mind one who was a total fucking hottie. The Dundees moved into number 3, and I hit the jackpot. He was 2 years older than me, and he went to some specialist rugby boarding school because he was tipped to be a big rugby star. He was never usually home during the school holidays because he had rugby tours or some sports-related shit, but this year he'd been injured. We had to be home for 3 months, which meant I had a very short window to work hard and make him want me as much as I wanted him. I was in normal term time, and as per my strict daily schedule, I couldn't just hang out in the evenings unless it was to walk Polly, the dog. But one evening, I got lucky. I saw him smoking outside his house, and I asked him if he wanted to go down the lane with me. He said yes. Now this means nothing, but it's a dull village. There isn't even a pub, so down the lane, I wooed him. What's your favourite film? Event Horizon. Oh, I don't know that one. Is it good? I'd seen it. Yeah, it's the best. I purposely didn't say anything here. You should watch it. I don't have a copy. I watch it most nights. You can come over if you want. Sounds cool. What about tonight? Yeah. I've got loads of stuff to do, so 11? Yeah. He was gagging to spend more time with me. Plus, 11 p.m. definitely made it sound like I was older. The fact I had to be in bed by 9 didn't really factor into my thinking. Dad and my stepmom would be in their room watching telly from 2200 hours, so I figured I'd give it an hour and then sneak out. It was pretty high stakes. I went to bed with my torch and my socks still on. At 11 p.m, I snuck down my captain's bed ladder. Yeah, weird, I slept on a top bunk till I was 17. Anyway, I crept down the staircase, through the dining room, past the kitchen and into the utility room where I picked up Polly, slid on my trainers, and then I let us out the back door. Really quietly. Now, the main obstacle was the creaky old garden gate, which always slammed. This is why I had to take Polly, as although she was a good dog and rarely barked, she would whenever that gate handle was turned, and I couldn't risk that noise on returning home later. We got out with minimal noise. Polly and I headed down the drive. She was overexcited and wagging her tail so hard that she was doing that thing where her bum almost hits her cheek. I was excited too. At James's house, no one was in, because his dad had died a year before, and his mum had just met some new man, and she stayed at his most nights in town. James was cool with Polly being there, and she chilled in the hallway whilst we watched Event Horizon in the lounge. He didn't mention anything about me wearing my pyjamas. Oh, God. Sitting next to him on the sofa was so dreamy. So exciting. At the point in the film where they're approaching the drifting vessel to dock with, I had made sure that his left leg and my right leg were touching. By the time they had entered via the ship's main corridor, our hands were grazing, and by the time Justin is brought to the medical bay, we were snogging. The old hand graze to leg graze was always a winner move. This continued every night for a couple of weeks. We watched Alien, Taxi, The Godfathers and The Fifth Element, amongst other films. After the films, we'd carry on doing a bit of kissing, some fingering, dry humping, nothing too major. I'd always come, though. I'm not sure if he did. Not sure if he knew I did. God, it was the most exciting time. Most nights I'd stay at his till 2ish and then sneak back into bed, the garden gate not giving me away. But sometime in the second week, at around 1 a.m, Polly barked. Shit. There was a knock at the door. Oh, fuck. We jumped off each other. Then all hell kicked off. It was my stepmom. She told me to leave immediately. As we walked up the hill, she told me that my father was too angry to come down and that he was waiting for me in the kitchen. Bollocks. I did not want to go home. He was going to kill me.